Greetings, folks. You've reached DC Investing. I've reached financial independence, and I'm talking about topics to help others reach financial independence. And today I just wanted to give a quick info video on one of the best investments that I know about, which is what's called a health savings account. It's an HSA, and the way to get access to one of these is you have to have a high deductible health plan from, typically these are from your employer. And a lot of places are going to these. I think it's because it costs less money for the employer to do these types of plans. So if you have access to an HSA, it is really one of the most effective investment platforms you can possibly have. And something that's not well known about an HSA is anytime you put money into it, you don't pay FICA taxes on an HSA. There's one of the few types of income that work this way. And so FICA is your Social Security and Medicaid taxes. So I would, personally, I ramp up and do the maximum I can to the HSA, because FICA taxes are what, 7.6% of your paycheck. So if you put your money in an HSA, you immediately get a 7.6% gain on the funding that you put in there. And like I said, from a W-2 job, there's no escaping FICA tax, but the HSA is one of those things where you get this awesome gain. Now, the next great thing about it is the HSA saves on your federal and state tax. So depending on your tax bracket, you may save another 10% or 12%, 22%, 27%, maybe it's 24%, up to 37% on your federal taxes, depending on which tax bracket you're in. So those can add up to huge savings. And they also save on state tax. I'm in Utah. We have about a 5% tax rate. So when you lump all of these together, it's really easy to get, excuse me, like a 25% gain just by putting your money in the HSA. That is a huge investment gain. So it's an awesome account. I can't recommend that more to folks. Then what I do is I don't spend my HSA. The idea is, in general, each year you should, you can spend it on your medical expenses, but it's such a powerful investment account. I don't do that. I pay all of my medical expenses out of pocket. I use a 2% cashback credit card to cover the expenses. So that actually gives me a 2% gain on any medical expenses above what would happen if I paid it out of my HSA. And then I just leave the funds in the HSA and I invest them. And the reason to do that is because when you pull money out of your HSA, any growth that happens over the years is also not taxed. So growth, your HSA can grow in whatever you want to invest it in, and you will not be taxed on the funds as long as what you pull the money out for is considered a medical expense according to the IRS. And there's a ton of things that qualify. And you don't have to reimburse yourself in the same year that you put funds in the HSA, as long as you've saved the receipts for whatever expense you've done. You could conceivably, save receipts for a decade and then reimburse yourself all in 1 year when you choose, if you want those funds. So that's a really powerful thing to the IRS. They just need you to justify that, yep, I took $100,000 out of my HSA in this year, and I've had $100,000 in medical expenses over the 10 years previous. So really some creates a huge amount of flexibility. The funds pulled from your HSA do not count as income. So in the year that you pull them out, you won't be taxed anymore on your other funds. It does not count as income for Obamacare. So it keeps your premiums low. It doesn't count as income for IRMA charges. So they're really a strategic way to get some awesome savings by getting an HSA. So, if you want to learn more, there's tons of articles online about how to do this. Google search whatever you're interested in, or do a chat GPT of how to get the most out of your HSA. It is truly one of the best funds that exists out there right now in terms of making or increasing your returns, because you save so much on funds going in. The FICA tax is, saving that is huge. Federal and state tax, that's huge as well. So can't recommend that enough. Check out your HSA. I hope you are using that. It is really one of the supercharged investment accounts that everybody should understand. So like, subscribe. Thanks for being here. Hope that helps. We'll see you. Bye.